Okay, I have set up the last lab where we titrate vinegar, which is a weak acid. That's what I have here in the flask, with a strong base, sodium hydroxide, which is in the burette. I have added the vinegar already, and a stir bar and phenolphthalein, which is an indicator. It's supposed to help us see where the end point occurs. It's supposed to turn this really, really pale pink. Hopefully you can see it well enough while I do the titration. And here is the sodium hydroxide. It's already filled, the burette is. In your lab reports, you will have up here the concentration of the sodium hydroxide is 1 molar. And we have to record the initial burette volume, which is 3.7 milliliters. We will record the final burette volume, then you have to calculate the volume used. We'll do that 3 times, and then you have a bunch of calculations to do. This is very similar, the titration part anyway, it's similar to the water hardness lab that we did, but instead of calcium EDTA or EDTA solution, we have sodium hydroxide. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get the stir bar started, and I'm going to start titrating. As you can see, you get this pink color because of the indicator. I forgot to mention, I've added 12.5 milliliters initially of vinegar to the flask before I started the titration, and 1 milliliter of the phenolphthalein, although that doesn't really count in your calculations. The first titration is the hardest because you don't really have much idea unless you do the calculations first. You can back calculate to know how much volume you need, and so you have to be very careful. Once you know how much it takes, you can plow through for the next ones. I'm getting closer, so I'm going to go much slower this time. And let's see. Really slow. I'm getting very, very close. adding just a little bit of water to get that drop, and we are just a little over. We need it to be a little less paler pink than that, but this gets really big drops. Okay, so now we read the final volume, and the final volume is 14.6. So you're right, 14.6 milliliters at the final volume, and that's the end of trial 1. I will fill out, I'll do the other 2 trials and fill out the rest of the table for you, and I will give you those values. Okay, this is titration number 2, and I just wanted to show you how pale a pink it needs to be. You can barely see it, that it's pale pink. With the other one, we just went a little over, and that's why the first titration is always the hardest, because you don't know how much it's going to take exactly. And here's the pale pink. Okay, I'm going to do trial 3 and give you all the data. Okay, here is the data for all 3 trials. As you'll notice, these values here and here are the same because I started trial 2 right after I finished trial 1. So these 2 values are the same, and the same here. I started trial 3 right after I finished trial 2. Okay, this is the data, and you have a bunch of calculations that you can work out, and let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.